National Puerto Rican Bar Association, established to meet the question on a national basis: what is Puerto Rico? A nation, a state, or something in between? Join the conversation every week right here.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Anthony Suarez. I am president and chair of the National Puerto Rican Conference, an organization we put together, and we're going to explain that during the show. And we're going to explain what the purpose of the whole this thing is. And with me on the screen is Steve Alcina, my friend for over 20 years, where we met on radio doing live shows in Spanish language radio. Where we have common mentors, and we learned how to do radio and do these kinds of shows. And we realize how important it is and effective it is in our community. And here we are back 20 years later trying to do this show. So welcome, Steve, and thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you.
And so let's discuss about what this is all about. For those of you who saw the intro, yes, this is the National Puerto Rican Bar Association Conference. And what that means is that in an attempt to try to solve some of the questions, not solve this, but at least discuss these questions about the issue of Puerto Rico, we are, what I have done is put together the leadership of the Puerto Rican Bar Associations throughout the country. There is a Puerto Rican Bar Association in Illinois, Puerto Rican Bar Association in New York that started in 1957. There's a Puerto Rican Bar Association in Florida, and there's, of course, the Puerto Rican Bar of Puerto Rico that was started in the 1800s. So these four bar associations have agreed to come together in cooperation. And so let me show a little bit about that. You saw the video earlier. And the introduction of the picture of the members of the bar, and here we are, that image. And this is a class, not the leadership. Yeah, I had the leadership, but it's gone. Anyway, it was in the introduction. What we have is the leaderships all will get together to treat if we can have discussions among ourselves. And so we're inviting the public, which is why we're doing this. We're inviting the public to join the conversation on the issue of Puerto Rico. So what is the conference? It's a conference for us, an opportunity for members of the four bar associations for the four countries, for the four states and in the territory to come together to discuss and meet each other. I mean, there's always no one who doesn't always have some family in Puerto Rico. People in Puerto Rico have family in Florida or in Chicago or in Illinois. So the lawyers have an opportunity to meet each other, network, and discuss how we can better prepare and better enhance and help our clients if they have a cross-border problem. So that's one thing the conference does, an ability to professionally enhance ourselves by providing better services to communities and by networking. Also, we have the opportunity to do continuing legal education, and that's where that picture comes in, sir, because what we do is have classes. And among the classes that we have is we have prominent speakers that speak about Puerto Rico from expertise that they have. And as a result of that expertise, they discuss issues that are about Puerto Rico, how it affects Puerto Rico, and how it affects members of their community. So when we discuss things about Puerto Ricans in Chicago, or Puerto Ricans in New York, or Puerto Ricans in Island of Florida, in Miami, Tampa, everyone gets an opportunity to hear from the experts about what can be done about Puerto Rico and the Puerto Rican community. So that's among the things that we do at the conference: continuing legal education and networking. But this year we're adding another wrinkle. And that wrinkle is something that we have done in the past, and that is called a moot court competition. So you may ask, what is a moot court competition? Well, a moot court competition is an opportunity for law students to come together and practice and litigate against each other. And so this is a very popular, it's done throughout the country, has been, but never has it been done like we're doing it exclusively on the issues affecting Puerto Rico. As you see, we've done it in the past. This is the fifth one, but it's the first time we're opening it up to the public for the public to watch. You can come and watch the different law schools. In the past, Steve, we've had over 15 different law schools from around the country come to litigate on the issue of the equality of Puerto Rico, the status of Puerto Rico. Is it constitutional? Is it a colony? Is it a state? What position does Puerto Rico have? And it discussed at an intellectual level on the law. And in the end, it doesn't have to be Puerto Ricans. We don't want Puerto Ricans. In fact, we want people outside of the Puerto Rican community to learn about Puerto Rico. Because as we know, and we'll discuss it later, it doesn't make a difference what Puerto Rico wants. They can't vote themselves into equality or independence. Only the United States Congress has that control, and we'll have discussion about that. But the point is that at this National Puerto Rican Conference, you have the CLEs, you have the networking, and we will have MOOT court. And look how beautiful it is to see young kids. These young kids have to argue in front of three judges. And these judges, by the way, that one in the middle happens to be the highest ranking judge in New York State. She's on the Court of Appeals in New York. And she came down from New York to Florida to listen to these three young kids, and of course the other team that were participating as well. They had an opportunity to prepare, to argue against other schools, and this year we've sent out invitations to 60 different schools. So we're hoping to have a great representation of schools and students from all over the place and coming down to argue about the question of status of Puerto Rico.
This is taking place when again, Tony?
To show you how we've done it in the past. This was the one in 2015. We had some in Miami, we had New York, we had Chicago, and then the winners of those regionals came down to Orlando for the finals. So that's how that worked out. We had competition in Chicago, we had a competition in New York, we had a competition in Miami, and then we had the finals in Orlando, Florida. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience, a wonderful opportunity for the students to practice being lawyers and learn about Puerto Rico. And so this is among the things that we'll be doing at this conference. But there's one more thing that we're doing. We're doing the conference for the lawyers with CLEs, networking. We're doing the MOOT court for the students and the law school. And by the way, we're doing this at the Florida A&M school where I teach. They're lending me the school as part of the sponsorship in order to do this event at the school.
That is cool.
And I'm really looking forward to do that. And then we have a third event, and that is political salsa. So what political salsa is an opportunity for local politicians to meet the Puerto Rican community and the Puerto Rican community and Latino community in general, to come to a location. In this place will be the law school, to meet the people who want the vote of the Puerto Rican community. This event is going to be in September, so it's just before the elections, and there's going to be a lot of politicians who are going to want your vote. And so we're hoping that Political Salsa gives an opportunity for people to know the candidates and for the candidates to know the movers and shakers in our community. So when they put their table out there and they're standing there shaking hands, they know, oh, hi, Steve, I know you. Oh, hey, Joe, how you doing? And they get a chance to meet our community, and our community meets it. So the conference of the National Puerto Rican Bar Association is about those three things: having the opportunity for lawyers to have continuing education and to network so they can be better lawyers. Two, it is an opportunity for law schools and law students to come and practice and to learn about Puerto Rico, because they're going to have to learn all the history, the legal history of behind Puerto Rico and its constitution. And lastly, if the political salsa is for the community to be able to listen to the arguments and meet political leadership. So this is all that what we're doing in this conference, which is in September, and I want to invite everyone to please note. You see that our website is on the bottom of the page. You can get that website. You get all the information about when it is, the timing, etc. And I urge you all to join. And then, of course, we have things like this. We have cultural events, right? Where we have a show off our community, our culture, and who we are, and as a people, so that you get a chance to see this. It's not meant to be an entertainment per se as much as education, because most of the people that will be coming to this will not be Puerto Ricans. It will be other people who are coming from all over the place, from Chicago, New York, Puerto Rico. But a lot of people are going to learn about us during this conference. And what is bomba? ¿Qué es plena? ¿Dónde viene eso? What that comes from? Where's our cultural history? So these are among the things that we're hoping to be able to provide uh, to everybody, uh, Steve, in this very complex operation, which is the National Puerto Rican Conference. So I know I may have been speaking too fast. I said a lot of things. This has been a project that I've been working on for many years. Obviously, this is something that popped up in my mind now. But my hope is that we use this platform to educate on a national basis, because ultimately, Steve, you and I have discussed Puerto Rico a million times, but you know that Puerto Ricans, they can have 100 plebiscites on the island. They can't vote themselves either independence or statehood. They can't do it. It's not possible. The only place and the only way, which is clearly been stated by the Supreme Court now, is through Congress. Only Congress can change the status of Puerto Rico. And only Congress can authorize Puerto Rico to vote itself independent or vote itself into a statehood or any other type of relationship. But Congress has to come out. And so that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen even if all of New York, all of Illinois, and all of Florida say yes, because they're 50 states. And you have to have the support of all the states in order to get through Congress and the House of Representatives, ultimately signed by the President of the United States, a bill authorizing some action in Puerto Rico. So that's where we're going. I've said a lot, and now let me listen from you.
No, 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 you're doing fine. The only problem I have is this right here, what you just said. We got to wait for Congress, and then it has to be signed for the president
Right.
for Puerto Rico to even think of becoming independent.
Right.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yep, that is the case, and so by the way, so you people will know, because I forgot to mention in this opening, is that at the conference we're going to be having all this, but this show, which we will air every Thursday, will have some of those guests and some of those experts joining us to talk. We have scheduled Darren Soto, the congressman. We have Martin Rivera, who is a lobbyist for Washington, D.C., that works on the issue of Puerto Rico. He's already scheduled. We have a guy named Howard Hills, who is an author, lawyer, constitutionalist, who wrote a book literally on the territorial clauses. He'll be joining us as well. And so we're going to have different kinds of, and we'll also have the president of the Puerto Rican Bar of Chicago, the Puerto Rican bars of New York, they're already scheduled, the president of the Puerto Rican Bar of Puerto Rico, and the president of the Puerto Rican Bar of Florida, all of which are scheduled to be on this show. So we will have interesting discussion. We will have experts in the field. And of course, it all culminates on September 18th and 19th. Yes, Steve.
Let me go ahead and give them the dates so we have it on record since
Right.
we are talking about law.
Mhm.
On June 9th, we're going to have Howard Hill.
Right.
Okay. That would be at that, is that 9 a.m.? No, 11 a.m. I'm sorry.
Right.
I apologize. On June 9th at 10 in the morning, we'll have Martin Rivera.
Right.
Okay. Then on June 18th at 10 a.m., we'll have Gustavo Torres, which is the accountant. Right.
Right.
Then we'll have Mr. Darren Soto, June 18th on 3 o'clock p.m. in the afternoon for those who get out early. So that's
I know that
just
off the top of my head. We have the president of the Puerto Rican Bar Association of New York. I think she's out the 16th. Is that a Thursday? No, pretty sure that schedule. And I sent you an email on that because I spoke with my
yeah.
on that.
I
So I got the president of, and of course the president of Illinois, Patricia. She will be in the air. So we have all these already scheduled. All right, for our conversations. So please lower your volume, Steve, because I'm getting a little bit of feedback.
Okay.
Okay, so we have all these scheduled already, and I think it's gonna be a great show for all of you who are interested. And you have more details on the Puerto Rican Bar Association conference. You have details about the MOOT court, what we're doing, how you get there, the location, all of that. And we'll have, of course, a couple of months. We have 3 months till the election, and till the conference, and we're going to learn a lot about what we're doing. So before I go into a more in-depth conference, Steve, do you have any questions of me?
Well, actually, I do. I don't like. Okay. So when it comes to the situation and the status and the issue with Puerto Rico, which has been there for eons, I do have, you know, let me see how I put this or how I phrase this. I'm not very well knowledgeable in that department. I do know this much. Okay. Puerto Rico is a commonwealth. I do know that the United States, because of that commonwealth, we owe a lot of money to the United States.
Right.
Okay. And now you're telling me that Congress has to give the okay for us to even think to become independence.
Yeah. So to that point, Darren Soto over the last several years has introduced a bill in Congress that would allow, please lower your volume, that would allow the Congress to pass a bill that would give Puerto Ricans the opportunity to have a vote on certain status, that it would be a binding vote, not just a plebiscite that Puerto Ricans are talking to each other. Right? That this would be a binding vote on Congress. So he has had a bill that would allow Puerto Ricans to vote on a binding. So that bill has gotten close. 1 year it actually passed, but never got through the Senate. I never even heard. So we will be discussing his bill. When he's on with us, we will be discussing the status of his bill. Where is it at? Where is it going? It may, of course, with the craziness that's going on today in Washington, I don't know if his bill is even going to get a committee hearing. But that's what he'll be talking about. Passing a bill and getting sufficient support throughout the country, congressmen from all over the country, Wyoming and Iowa, right, and Montana, to get them to vote for a bill that will allow Puerto Rico to vote for its future. That is what we're talking about. And that's actually the big purpose of putting this conference together. Because without that kind of national support, Soto's bill has no chance of getting through. And if Soto's bill doesn't have a chance of getting through, Puerto Rico will continue in its status as a colony as of now.
I did not, and I don't want to sound ignorant of this subject because I do know quite a bit, but I did not know, okay, that we needed to have a majority of vote by the Senate and approved by the President of the United States for them to quit squeezing the money that they're squeezing out of that island.
Yep. And that's another issue too. I have not secured an interview yet, but I want to have an interview and a discussion about the finances of Puerto Rico. For those of you who don't know, Puerto Rico was in the throes of being in the bankruptcy because of the debts that it had incurred. It could not, because it's not a state. It could not use the bankruptcy code to declare bankruptcy. So Congress passed a special bill, the Promesa bill, and Promesa establishes board, and the board actually controls Puerto Rico's budget. It's not their representative, not their Senate, not their House, not their governor. It's the board of Promesa that controls the budget of Puerto Rico. And so, because of that, they determine how the money is going to be spent and where the money is going to be spent. And there's a whole lot of discussion about the expenses of the Promesa board, which has already reached in the millions, multis of millions of dollars, just for legal fees. Okay, so
Hi, pero
so,
que yo,
so we have a lot of discussion as to whether or not the Promesa itself is constitutional, or even if it is constitutional, is it fair? Is it morally fair?
so
Um,
you so let me see if I get this straight now. You telling me that Promesas, okay, is in charge of the money that Puerto Rico has to be
Correct.
able to pay the debt?
yes, that's
So where's that money going? Because we owe billions and billions and billions. That's an island to the United States. Why would Congress want to sign when they have a huge IOU?
right. Yeah. Your indignation is felt by millions of people. There are the court already. This case is in bankruptcy. Puerto Rico is in a bankruptcy court, but it's governed under the Promesa law, which is special just for Puerto Rico. Okay, and so the court has settled some of the debts, but some of the bondholders are still holding out, and the Promesa board is paying them. Is paying the debts, and they collect, and they decide, is this road going to be built or that road going to be built, and this school is going to be open, that school's not going to be open. They decide. Well, they decide how much money goes into what of education. Puerto Rico will decide which school to close. Okay, but they will say how much money goes toward education, how much money goes to roads, etc.
Well, it sure ain't going into the infrastructure. Have you seen Puerto Rican roads? Okay, you got a lane like this, okay, where only one car can fit, okay, and that's if you don't have a hill with a big hill going down, and if you step wrong, there you go.
Right.
Uh, no, you know what? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's gonna be a
call
lot.
me ignorant.
Really
You
hopeful.
learn something every day,
Yeah,
but I did not know that.
I'm really hopeful that you and many people who listen to us, which I'm hopeful that comes out. Because on my Facebook page I have more than 3,000 friends, and I know you have a couple of hundreds, if not thousands, of friends on your side, and hopefully this will grow as an information. And I want also assure those people who are listening, the Puerto Rican Bar Association, none of the Puerto Rican Bar Association take a position on whether Puerto Rico should be a state or whether Puerto Rico should be independent. All right, no one takes a position, because Puerto Ricans have to make their decisions whether they should be a state or whether they should continue in the colonial status, or whether they should find independence. That Puerto Ricans. All we are trying to do is to ensure they get the right to vote for that determination. Okay, so I want to make that clear. None of the Puerto Rican bar associations take a position on what the political status of Puerto Rico should be. We all, though, however, all agree that Puerto Rico must be given the opportunity to decide. So I wanted to make that clear. Our purpose in this show is not to argue one way or the other. We will bring forth arguments for independence, and gladly we will invite people from the Partido Independentista or people who believe that that's the best way for Puerto Rico. And as we will have people from the statehood movement, or from those that they had what's called an enhanced Commonwealth. I'm not sure what that means, but we will discuss that in the future. But we will give everyone an opportunity to air their views and listen, and then we can all be educated. And we're doing this in English and not in Spanish, although both you and I did shows in Spanish, precisely because we're trying to reach non-Spanish speaking people who have the ability to vote for congressmen and have the ability to vote for senators. That's the audience. That's the target audience, not Puerto Ricans. So I wanted to make that clear, and I'm hoping that we, in fact, are able to educate as many people as possible.
Well, I believe that we have we have the heart in the place. Um, I've learned, something every day. We always talked about that.
Let me add this now that change the topic a little bit. All right, we discussed about the conferences and what we're trying to do, but this is an important part. The education, moot court. What moot court is, Steve, is a great opportunity for young persons who are looking to become attorneys, right? To practice their skills, arguing in front of the judges, preparing briefs, and in order to prepare their careers. Now, this is a wonderful opportunity, and by the way, it's very limited. Not everybody in law school is on a moot court team. The moot court team is a selected team. It's like a football team. Not everybody in university is part of the football team or the baseball team. Not everybody at the law school is part of the moot court team. All right. So
That's a shame, man. Excuse me, because I was thinking, well, if that's the case, man, I can get up there and make my own case and debate, because I think that's fun. No, but go ahead. I'm sorry. I apologize. Got
So,
carried away
so
there.
what we're hoping is that it gives an opportunity for young Latinos who to join the team, and oh, I want to be part of the team, and so they can join the team and they can compete, and then those people will have to be studying the issue of Puerto Rico. So what happens in Muco, we give a fact pattern. What this happened, this happened, this happened. For example, in the past, we had an example of two Puerto Rican soldiers. One lives in New York. They were both born in Puerto Rico, but one moves to New York and one stays in Puerto Rico. They both go to Afghanistan, part of the war, right? Now comes election day, and the commander says everyone should come out to vote. It's important for you have the right under the law to absentee vote. If you're a military soldier, we will give you a ballot. You can vote and you can send it to count. The commander would go to the Puerto Rican from New York and give him a ballot so he could vote. But the Puerto Rican whose house is in Puerto Rico, he gets no ballot. So now, they're in the same foxhole. They're in the same war. They're wearing the same uniform. But one gets to vote and one does not get to vote. That creates a look like a problem with the 14th Amendment equal protection under the law. So the argument has to be, is this law of Puerto Ricans, although they are citizens, but not allowed to vote, an unequal protection of the law and thus a violation of the Constitution? That's the type of situation. That's not the problem this year. It's a different problem. I just gave you the problem from the past. But that's the type of argument that the law students have to prepare to argue in front of the judges. And then they get graded of how they're doing it and so forth. So I love moot court. It's something we've done. When I was president of the Puerto Rican Bar of Florida, we initiated this thing and we did 4 of them. And then we took a break because I was no longer the president. And now that I started this new organization, the conference, I decided to kick up the moot court because it was such a wonderful, successful program. And I'm retired, so I can have the time to do this, And
Yes,
so this is what we're doing, and I think it's a wonderful opportunity. What do you think of that?
I think it's great, man. Too bad I ain't studying law. I would like to go to moot court, okay? I tell you what, if we can argue about something I know, and I know the law on that particular subject, I will be more than glad to take the exam to see if I can participate in moot court. Because I find that it's pretty cool. You
Yeah.
know, I
So
was
if
a
you want
single
more
dad,
information
couldn't go
on
to
that,
huh?
if you know, if you guys who are listening and you have someone who's in law school or like to go to law school, please contact us at our website below, because we will put you in part of, you can either join a team, or you can be a volunteer during the, because we're going to have a lot of moving parts. A lot of people moving. I have to move the judges and security from one room to another room. We have to put the teams. You go to courtroom A, you go to courtroom B. There's a lot of moving parts, and we could use the volunteers. So if you're interested in helping, then please give us a call. Write to us at our website below, and we can join. I think it could be exciting.
I think it's pretty cool. I would like to go. I am gonna go.
And finally, Steve, just to end in the show, let's talk about political salsa. Okay, political
Yes.
salsa is another thing that I started several years ago in order to bring the community. I call it a platform, right? A platform. As you know, we have Puerto Rico Day in Tallahassee. When I was in the state legislature, I started
You
that.
brought that in.
Right. And so Puerto Rico Day is a platform for the statewide. So that if we go to Puerto Rico, the legislators in Tallahassee learn about the Puerto Rican community and the Puerto Rican people from wherever they're coming from, Tampa, Miami, or wherever, Orlando. We go to Tallahassee and we get to know who they are. So it's that
Exactly.
a statewide platform. Political salsa is a local platform for local politicians. So the local politicians get to meet the voters, and the voters get to meet the local politicians. This is a popular. It's like a hobnob. I'm sure you've other people have gone to the Chamber of Commerce hobnob. It is a political hobnob. We call it political salsa because we want to make it Latino, right?
Yeah.
But it's a hobnob, an opportunity to political, and that will be happening. And it happens. Of course, this is September, so the elections are in November. So all those will have the Republicans and the Democrats who are opposing each other will be at our event, and you can meet both sides. And you can ask them questions and shake their hand, volunteer, donate money, or just get out there and become part of the democracy of the United States. And so this we've been doing this for many years, and I invite everyone to participate in that.
Great,
By the way,
great
we are
way to
live.
explain.
So if you would like to drop a line and say something to us, please, do that. I love to be able to hear from you now or in the future. And if I can answer your questions, wonderful. Steve.
Yes, sir.
So what do you think? That's the program.
I think it's awesome. The political south side, I think, is an awesome way to network and market and meet people. Okay, and especially if you are a politician or a student, like you were saying about student law. I like the mock court.
Mhm.
Too bad, but I would love to see it because I think it would be great. I like when lawyers refer to other cases with numbers and based on case so and so that was passed in court so and so. They refer to the case that they're presenting at the court at that moment.
Right.
You know, so you got a lot of studying, you got a lot of research, and all of that stuff. I enjoy. I really do. So I would really enjoy being there. I think that we should get a little bit more, uh, get into more advertisement for those activities. That way, when we are here, we bring it out so that people that are watching either live or that they're watching later on because whatever their work,
Right.
etc., they're able to have the dates and the places so they can come, and see this. I'm going.
Well, Steve, I covered everything I wanted to cover with this introduction. Hopefully, that's been complete. I know next week we start the actual interviews with live with live witnesses. I call them witnesses, I guess. Okay.
Yes.
I'm hoping you join us in the future. I want to say thanks, Steve, for joining me on this adventure. This is going to be hopefully an exciting couple of months. Right now, we're scheduled to go through September, and if it's successful and people like what they're hearing, then we'll continue thereafter. But this is what we're trying to do. I want to thank all of you for listening to me. And if you need some information, give us a call. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. God bless.